Kia ora! Welcome back to my channel. My name's Renee. I like to read books and then talk about them on the internet. Look at my new bookshelves. Aren't they gorgeous? I am obsessed. We built these last weekend and yeah, I'm just very happy. Very happy that it's done. Some of you asked some questions on Instagram, and so I thought I would put up a little Q&A box for anyone else that had questions, and quite a few people did. So I'm making this video today to give you an introduction to the new shelves, because you're going to be seeing them a lot, and answer your questions and also do a bit of a shelf tour. We'll see how that goes. I've done one before and it was pretty shaky. Some of you may already know that we have a bookshelf in that corner over there. You would have seen it in previous videos probably. I have a video of me kind of refreshing that shelf, which you can go watch. That shows a little bit more of the kind of process of how it's built or how it comes together. I'm not going to talk about that in this video because there is that one, and this shelf is exactly the same unit as this one. This one is just twice as big. So if you want to know like the process or see how it was done, kind of, you can watch that video. It doesn't show the full process because we had already built the shelves at that point. I just had some extra shelves cut and I like repainted them and had to change out some screws and stuff. So yeah, there's a little bit more of a kind of like work in progress type thing in that video, which you can go watch. This one is going to be specifically about the shelf and how to do it, because a lot of people ask those questions. And yeah, organising, people were interested in that as well. So I think we'll just start with like the specifics for this shelf. This shelf is 3 meters wide by 2.5 meters tall, and the shelves are 200 millimeters deep, and there are 8 of them. There are roughly 870 books on this shelf at the moment. I think it could definitely fit at a capacity like between 12 to 1300 maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but there is plenty of room, space to grow. I don't love the gap, but this is a work in progress. Like, it is not finished. I don't know if this is the way that it's going to stay. It's just the way that it is for now. But yeah, plenty of room to grow, and at a guess, 12 or 1300 books would fit, I think. Okay, questions about what it's made of and like how do we do it. We used these shelving unit brackets from Bunnings. Shout out to Bunnings. Not sponsored. So it's basically just this bracket that you can buy at multiple heights, that you screw into the wall, and then into those lock the arms or the bits that the shelves actually sit on. And you can get these in varying lengths. This one's 2.5 meters. That one on that wall is 2 meters. I think you can get 1 long meter ones and then 500 or something like that. So there is options to make it as customizable as you want. And then also, yeah, the arms that the wood sits on, they do different depths for those as well. You just have to make sure that the wood that sits on it is the right fit for it. Super easy. We have obviously done this before, so we were able to just replicate the smaller shelf and make this one bigger. It does require 2 people because of the size, and I think just the accuracy of making sure that everything is level and straight is important. But once we'd kind of screwed the brackets, these vertical pieces, and to the walls in the middle and the top and the bottom, I was able to just go around and just screw in the other key points that we wanted on my own. You just want to make sure that you have 2 people to make sure it's level. And then, of course, anytime I had to move a shelf onto these brackets, I had to get Rupert's help, just because the sheer size, it's always best to have 2 people. These shelves are actually just MDF, 18mm MDF, which is what we used for that shelf as well. And I painted them myself. You can buy pre-made units, shelves that come from Bunnings from this brand, the Flexi Storage brand, but they aren't as customizable, and you don't necessarily have ones that are 3 meters long. In fact, I don't think they do 3 meter long ones. So we wanted to customize them, make them just one piece. So I decided to paint them myself, which is what we did for the other ones as well. And it's fine, it's easy, just slap some paint on it, let them dry. Materials that we used, the wall brackets, the MDF, paint, sandpaper, paint rollers, a drill. A drill is handy because drilling into studs is always easier with like a, what do you call, power drill. And a level. A level would probably also be the other key thing, to make sure that you're getting it straight, so that these vertical units are all going to be at the same height. This wall is not straight. This wall is also not flush, so it curves in at one point, which we've discovered and has caused a bit of an issue, but we know how to fix it. I would say if you want to do something like this yourself, just measure up the wall that you have and figure out how many shelves you think you might want and order the stuff. Like, it's pretty easy. Yeah, I think those are all the questions. Oh, someone asked that, how much did it cost? I think all up for everything it costs about $800. So that was ordering the wood, them cutting it to specific size for us. We also have a bunch of MDF left over because they give you the offcuts. Yeah, them cutting it and also delivering it to our house, because that was the other issue that we were having with pieces of wood this big. It was like, how are we going to get them to our house? We live just up the road from a Bunnings, and they cut materials that you buy from there for free, but we were never going to be able to get them to cut that size and then get it here, which was frustrating. The brackets, these bits, we have 6 in this wall because there are 6 studs in this wall. So yeah, I would make sure that you know how many studs are in the wall that you want to put it on, and make sure that you have the vertical brackets for each of those. And then all from there working out how many shelves and then how many vertical brackets you have in order to buy the correct number of these things, the arms, if that's what you want to call them. And paint, and I think we had to buy paint rollers and some drop cloths and stuff like that. But all up, I'm pretty sure the total was like $800-ish, give or take. 800 New Zealand dollars. Don't ask me to convert that to anything else. That's the like materials, how it was made, that kind of stuff. It was pretty easy for us because we had already done it once before with that shelf there. So we were just replicating this because it's twice the size. So we kind of had an easy time with this one. A few other people had other questions that I'm going to now answer. That are more kind of book related and not shelf specific, because I feel like I've answered all the shelf questions. Okay, so how long have you been collecting the current collection? So I think the first book that I got in this current collection is The Hobbit. book by J.R.R. Tolkien, and this is actually a copy that my dad gave me when I was maybe 23, which is like 10 years ago. So 10 years is what I'm going to say. I definitely have not been collecting all of these books in the last 10 years. A lot of these came in the last kind of 2 or 3 years. So, yeah. But the oldest book in my collection is from about 2013. Do you donate/sell books once you've read them? I do, if I don't want to keep them in my collection. So I will often try to sell them if I can, because I often will ask for a store credit rather than cash for books at the secondhand bookshops that I take things to sell, because I know I'm always going to spend it on books anyway, so it's kind of just like a nice little cycle of book buying and selling. Once I've read a book, I'll often decide if I want to keep it or if I want to sell it, and then we'll kind of collect a bunch and then take them all to the secondhand bookshop when I'm ready. Someone didn't ask a question but said hoarder but make it cool. This is actually my old work colleague. Yeah, he wishes he had a bookshelf this good. Do you ever unhaul your books? Yes, I do. I will unhaul them by either selling them or sometimes just giving them to people, or yeah. I don't think I often donate books to charity shops for like free. Maybe I should. Thoughts about people who organize books by spine color versus alphabetical authors' names. I organize my books by authors' last names alphabetically. To me, that's the only way to do it. I think people that organize their books by color, like rainbow, have a much more positive outlook on life. And good for them. I have tried it and I immediately hated it and immediately changed it back. So yeah, you can't say that I haven't tried it. This just makes sense to me. It's my logical brain cannot fathom any other way. How do you decide which books to add to your collection versus which ones to get from the library? I don't use the library enough, but I do have this massive collection of books, so I kind of feel like I should be reading them, or I often don't need to go to the library because I most of the time already own the book. There are often book club books that I will check to see if the library has them first, because it can get a bit expensive ordering a new book every month, which I've done a few times, has worked out. And if it's been a book that I've really enjoyed and I got it from the library, I will make the decision to buy it afterwards. But yeah, don't really use the library enough, but feel like I have plenty to choose from up here. Did you count them? No, I didn't count them, but I do know exactly how many books I have in my collection because I enter every single book that I own into an app called Book Buddy. But yeah, there are 870, give or take. I'm pretty sure that every single one of these books is in here. I might have to go through and double check that, but I'm pretty good at, when I buy a new book, like putting it into the app straight away, so it's a pretty accurate record. While reshelving, did you find any books you might pick up sooner in the never-ending TBR? Yes, I did, because on that shelf, many of my books were double stacked, so a lot of them I didn't often see unless I went looking for them. Whereas now everything is on display and I can see everything, which is great. And what was it that I saw? Oh, it was actually, so that was a question from Nathan, and I did see Francois Sagan's Bonjour Tristesse, which I know is one of Nathan's favourite books. So this has been hiding behind another book, and yeah, reminded me that I needed to get to that pretty soon. Laurie Moore, she was another one that was hidden behind quite a few other things. So we've got some Laurie Moore here, Bark, Self-Help, Who Will Run the Frog Hospital, and Birds of America. Oh, and Anagrams. So I've got a good little Laurie Moore collection going on that I haven't even started or read anything from her yet. So that was a nice reminder. What else? Oh, The Door by Mark DeZarbo. This one's been hidden. Really want to read that soon. Zadie Smith was often hidden because the S's were always kind of hidden behind other books. So it's nice to see all her stuff out, and I definitely want to read something else from her that I haven't read yet. Maybe a little guy. This one's The Wife of Willesden, which is a play. All the books that were hidden were like ones that definitely did not deserve it. They needed to be on display. So I am beyond happy that everything can now breathe and have its own space. How are you thinking about going forward with future purchases / editions? Pickier than before? I've definitely become pickier in recent years. Did go through a period where I was just like buying books like a maniac and not really thinking about whether or not I even liked the edition, and often found myself kind of donating or like repurchasing the same book because I preferred an edition over the one that I already owned. So I've stopped doing that as much because I know that if there's another edition that I prefer, I'm gonna want it, and it's gonna make me want to read the book more. I'm shallow. I do judge a book by its cover, and if it's ugly, I probably won't read it. So yeah, much pickier. This is not going to be like my final kind of book collection at the end of my life. It will always change as I read things and decide what I want to keep and what I want to get rid of, but definitely trying to be more choosy about what I do add, because once I fill this, that's it. We're not going to be building any more shelves. How do you keep it all straight / know where one particular book is? My biggest issue. So yeah, at the moment everything is just alphabetical, and so that's how I know where everything is. I can kind of glance at a book and go, okay, that's M, but I'm looking for N, so I go that way. I think as I kind of get used to the shelf and where everything is at the moment, it'll be so easy to find, but I always know where things are because I know they'll be where they should be. You know? My big philosophy is that everything needs a home, and this is like where these books live, and if it's not there, I should be able to tell that it's not there. What books do you keep purely for sentimental reasons? I mean, there's nothing that I have on here that I've read that I don't keep because I love it, but books for sentimental reasons are probably the ones that my dad has kind of given to me or passed down to me. So The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, and just while I gracefully use this chair to get up here, I need to get a step ladder. Ooh, be careful, this is seriously dangerous. The other book that my dad, not this physical book, but this story he passed down to me, was Watership Down by Richard Adams, which I've always said is my favourite book, but I have not read it in years. But it does hold a lot of sentimental value, and my dad was always a big kind of reader and encouraged me to read, and we often talk about what I'm reading. He doesn't read as much anymore, which is sad, but yeah, he's always interested in what I'm reading. I think I have a lot of books on the shelf that I didn't enjoy but keep because they're beautiful objects. An example of one is Bluettes by Maggie Nelson. Yeah, I did not enjoy this book at all, but I think that this is too gorgeous to give up, so I will be keeping this. And that's an example of a book kept for shallow reasons. Yeah, more people have asked, like, do you unhaul books or keep everything you read? No, definitely don't keep everything I read. We'll make the decision after I've read it if I want to keep it or not. Okay, and then the last question is unread, mixed or separate. How do you decide which books to keep? So everything is just in alphabetical order. I did wonder about putting the books that I have read along the top, because those are a lot harder to reach. and I figured I would be reaching for them less. That's the only kind of way I can think about separating things at the moment. And then eventually I guess everything will just be read. But yeah, how do I decide what to keep? If it's a book that I could see myself rereading or want to refer back to, or love as an object and think is like beautiful. Yeah, all my favourite books I've kept. All of the books that kind of feel like they've impacted me, I keep. I don't necessarily keep all the books that I enjoyed though. If I just enjoyed a book, that doesn't necessarily mean that it will stay on my shelf. Now we're going to do a very quick, probably very badly balanced bookshelf tour. That's the entire bookshelf. There's obviously a chair in the way, but from ceiling to floor, that is it. And yeah, we've got A, B, where's the C? C starts like here. C. Okay, I've decided to film it from the floor because it's too dangerous trying to get up on anything else. So you're gonna see it from this weird angle, but we've got A's. And then we come across to some B's. We got some Babbitts, some Paul Beatty, some Lucia Berlin, some Roberto Bolaño, Anita Bruckner, lots of her, need to read her. Amina Kane, Truman Capote, some John le Carre. Hold on. Raymond Chandler. Yeah. We've got Rachel Cusk, obviously. That's not all the collection. Some of them are sitting in a red pile, but Rachel Cusk, Roald Dahl, Lydia Davis, Joan Didion, Tove Ditlevson, some Russians, Nora Ephron, Annie Ernaux, Elena Ferrante. It's so nice to look at a whole section of books and go, I've read every single one of those. Jonathan Franzen, Natalia Ginsburg, some Louise Gluck, and some Vivian Gornick. G's, and some H's. Tessa Hadley, Elizabeth Hardwick, my June collection. A lot of people have been asking me about that June this weekend, people that have been to the house. Sheila Hedy, where was I? Sheila Hedy, Victor Sjoth, Siri Hustvedt, Tove Jansson, Miranda July, Mary Carr, Jamaica Kincaid, Rachel Kushner, Catherine Lacey, Olivia Lang, Fran Lebowitz, Doris Lessing. Good shelf. We've got Deborah Levy, Yiyun Lee, Clarice Lispector, Valeria Luiselli, Cormac McCarthy. It's the Laurie Moore section, Toni Morrison, Dessa Moshfegh, Murakami, Iris Murdoch, Maggie Nelson, Sigrid Nunez, Edna O'Brien, Jenny Offal, Mary Oliver. Oh, there's that little corner. Anyone who wants to call me out for the Jordan Peterson, go ahead. Sylvia Plath, Annie Prue, Adrienne Rich, Jean Rees, A little bit of Philip Roth, Marilyn Robinson, Harry Potter, Rushdie, Salinger, White on White, I love that book. Little David Sedaris, some random stuff, Patti Smith, Zadie Smith, The Smiths coming up, Rebecca Solnit, Domenico Sarnone, some Steinbeck, some other random bits in there, Donna Tartt, a little bit of Miriam Toews, Tolkien, Tolstoy. Look at that Infinite Jest, it's so obnoxiously big. Colson Whitehead, John Williams, Jeanette Winterson, Virginia Woolf, Meg Wolitzer, Banana Yoshimoto, Kate Zambreno, Nell Zink, and then this little pile is like books that I want to read soon, so just in case you were wondering if some other ones were missing. Okay, I realized that I've probably got some stuff down here that I haven't talked about. So the book collection ends here, and then so far this year I have been collecting a few books, so collecting books that I've read. Everything I've read this year is here. I don't know why, I just felt like keeping them separate this year for something perhaps later on. And then these books are actually the books that I am planning on selling, unhauling this year. So those are also being put aside for something later on. That's the video. That's my new bookshelf. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hopefully that really badly filmed tour was good enough. If I have not answered a question that you might have, please ask away in the comments. I would be happy to answer it. I'm gonna sit and read my book on the couch while I look at my shelf. Okay, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.